Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 5th chapter. This chapter is entitled as the frustration of the sacrifice of Daksha. Frustration of the sacrifice of Daksha takes to one. This is the first verse of this chapter. Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Bhavo Bhavanya Nidhanam Prajapate Asatkritaya Avagamya Narada Saparshada Sainyam Cha Adharar Bhurthi Vidravitam Krodham Aparam Adadhe. Maitreya Uvacha. Bhavo Bhavanya Nidhanam Prajapate Asatkritaya Avagamya Narada Saparshada Sainyam Chatadharda Bhurvi Saparshada Sainyam Jagad Ardhararvi Tad Ardharar Bhurvi Tadadharar Bhurvi Saparshada Sainyam Cha Tadadharar Bhurvi Vidravitam Krodham Aparamadate Bhavo Bhavanya Nidhanam Prajapate Asatkritaya Avagamya Narada Saparshada Sainyam Chadadadhara Bhurvi Vidravitam Krodham Aparamadate Bhavo Bhavanya Nidhanam Prajapate Asatkritaya Avagamya Narada Saparshada Sainyam Cha Tadadharar Bhurvi Vidravitam Krodham Aparamadate Maitreya Uvacha. Bhavo
निधनं प्रजापते
भवो भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
असत्कृताया अवगम्य नारदा
असत्कृतायावगम्य नारदा
पार्षद सैन्यं च तदद्धरर्भूहि
सपार्षदसैन्यं च तदद्धरर्भूहि
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे मैत्रेय उवाच भवो भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते असत्कृतायावगम्य नारदा सपार्षदसैन्यं च तदद्धरर्भूहि
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
भवो भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
असत्कृताय अवज्ञं नारदत्
असत्कृतायावगम्य नारदा
पार्षदसैन्यं च तद्धर्तृभूमि
सपार्षदसैन्यं च तदद्धरर्भूहि
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारम् आदते
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
मैत्रेय उवाच
मैत्रेय उवाच
भवो भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
भवो भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
सत्कृताय अवगम्य नारदा
असत्कृतायावगम्य नारदा
पार्षदसैन्यं च तदद्धरर्भूमि
सपार्षदसैन्यं च तदद्धरर्भूहि
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपरम् आदधे
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
मैत्रेय उवाच
मैत्रेय उवाच
भवो भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
भवो भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
सत्कृताय अवगम्य नारदा
असत्कृतायावगम्य नारदा
पार्षदसैन्यं च तदध्वरर्भुभि
सपार्षदसैन्यं च तदद्धरर्भूहि
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
मैत्रेय उवाच
मैत्रेय उवाच
भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
भवो भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
सत्कृताय अवगम्य नारदा
असत्कृतायावगम्य नारदा
प्रासादं सैन्यं च तदध्वरर्भुवि
सपार्षदसैन्यं च तदद्धरर्भूहि
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
Mataji,
निधनं प्रजापते
भवो भवान्यानिधनं प्रजापते
सत्कृताया अवगम्य नारदा
असत्कृतायावगम्य नारदा
पार्षदसैन्यं च तदर्वभूमि
सपार्षदसैन्यं च तदद्धरर्भूहि
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
विद्रावितं क्रोधमपारमादधे
Hare Krishna. How many of you are outside? Maybe open this door and then there will be some more space. We can open that door also. Under, up under, some under alley. Please come in. Oh, you lock up. Who can do that? Very good. ওই ঘরের দুটো পাঠ খুলে দেন, এটা খুলে দেন। So now everybody is inside. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya said, Bhavaha, Lord Shiva, Bhavanya, of Sati, Nidhanam, the death, Prajapati, because of Prajapati Daksha, Ashatkritaya, having been insulted, Avagamya, hearing about, Narada, from Narada, Swaparshada Sainam, the soldiers of his own associates, Cha, and Tat Advara, produced from his Daksha's sacrifice. Ribhuhi, by the Ribhus, Vidravitam, were driven away. Krodham, anger. Aparam, unbounded. Adate, show. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Maitreya says, when Lord Shiva heard from Narada that Sati, his wife, was now dead because of Prajapati Daksha's insult to her, and that his soldiers had been driven away by the Vibhu demigods, he became greatly angry. Please repeat after me. Maitreya said, when Lord Shiva heard from Narada, Sati, his wife, was now dead because of Prajapati Daksha's insult to her, and that his soldiers had been driven away by the Ribhu demigod, he became greatly angry. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Shiva understood that Sati, being the younger daughter of Daksha, could present the case of Lord Shiva's purity of purpose and would thus be able to mitigate the misunderstanding between Daksha and himself. But such a compromise was not attained. And Sati was deliberately insulted by her father by not being received properly when she visited his house without being invited. Sati herself could have killed her father, Daksha, because she is the personified energy and it has immense power to kill and create within this material universe. In the Brahma Samhita, her strength is described. She is capable of creating and dissolving many universes. But although she is so powerful, she acts under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as his shadow. It would not have been difficult for Sati to punish her father. It would not have been difficult for Sati to punish her father, but she thought that since she was his daughter, it was not proper for her to kill him. Thus, she decided to give up her own body, which she had obtained from his father, and Daksha did not even check her. When Sati passed away, giving up her body, the news was conveyed by Narada to Lord Shiva. Narada always carries the news of such events because he knows their import. When Lord Shiva heard that his chaste wife Sati was dead, naturally became exceedingly angry. He also understood that Prithu Muni had created a reed Bhudeva demigods by uttering the mantra of the Yajurveda, and that these demigods had driven away all of his soldiers who were present in the arena of sacrifice. Therefore he wanted to reply to this insult, and thus he decided to kill Daksha because he was the cause of the death of Sati. So a new chapter is beginning. In the previous chapter, it has been described how Sati gave up her body. Sati quit her body. Daksha Yagga is a very interesting chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. This actually shows the mentality of a materialistic person and how such persons are eventually punished. A materialistic person simply judges everything from material point of view. Their way of judging things is from the material calculation. Money, fame, physical beauty, and so forth. Now from material calculation, from materialistic calculation, Lord Shiva's situation was very undesirable. Like Lord Shiva is, if he doesn't have a place to stay, he doesn't have a house, what to speak of a palace. He doesn't have money, he doesn't wear clothes, he looks very unkempt, his body is smeared with ashes, and instead of wearing flower garlands, he wears the garland of skulls. And he has snakes all over his body. And Daksha is a gross materialist. He is apparently materially, he is very successful. Daksha, the word Daksha means expert. Materially he is very expert. He is very capable. And from that calculation, Lord Shiva's position, Lord Shiva's situation is very undesirable. Now, these materialistic people don't understand why Lord Shiva's situation is like that, why Lord Shiva behaves like that. Why? Because Vaishnavanam Yatha Sampur. Lord Shiva is a Vaishnava. And a Vaishnava, no interest for materialistic affairs. A materialistic person judges everything from materialistic calculation, from materialistic point of view. And a devotee of the Lord has no interest for material things. Because he knows this material nature. First of all, what does a devotee know? That this material nature is a prison house. So when you know that it is a prison house, when one knows that this material nature is like a prison house, then will he be interested in making himself very well situated in the prison house? In the prison house, the prisoners wear, what do they do? Criminal uniforms. The prison uniform, prison dress. Now, do they want to dress up like very nicely with the prison dress? Naturally, not. And in the material, from the material point of view, like if the prison house, if someone knows that it's a prison house, will he decorate the prison house very nicely? try to get all kinds of arrangements, make all kinds of arrangements to be in the prison house very comfortably? Or will he try to get out of the prison house, losing any kind of attachment or attraction for the prison house? So that is the situation of Lord Shiva. And that is the situation of all the Vaishnavas. Like materialistic people cannot understand why a devotee is the way he is. The devotees, especially in the West, we notice the parents of the devotees become very upset about the situation of their children. Sometimes they come to the temple and they see that their children are 4 or 5 boys are living in one room. In the West, generally everybody has his own separate room. When they grow up a little bit, even in India it's happening now. Everyone has his own room. But there the devotees are staying. Now sometimes they see that the devotees are sleeping on the floor. It shocks them. And so then they see that they shaved up, they don't eat what they think to be very healthy food. And so they cannot relate to that situation. And they try to take their children back, their son back, but they can't. So they become very upset. In the early days, there was a thing called deprogramming. There were some gangsters, some ruffians, they made agreement with the parents, the parents of the boys who became devotees, and they wanted to forcibly take them away, and they used to call it deprogramming. They used to keep them in a room and they used to practically torture them so that eventually they would give up their attachment to the Hare Krishna movement and go back. And they used to charge big amount of money. And they used to call that deprogramming. Like as if the devotees have been, their understanding was, the devotees have been brainwashed or hypnotized and they have been drugged into becoming devotees. And Srila Prabhupada, when they used the word brainwashing, Prabhupada said, yes, we are washing the brain. Your brains are filled with all kinds of nonsense. So isn't it good to wash that brain with Krishna consciousness? But these people are so much in ignorance that they could not. Like a typical materialistic person cannot understand the behavior of a devotee. Why a devotee is doing what he is doing. Because and Lord Shiva is a perfect example of that. What to speak of Lord Shiva, you can see all the exalted devotees, they are like that. Takta Durgam Ashesha Mandala Bodhishwani Shada Pichava. The Goswamis of Vrindavan, they all were very exalted, materially very successful individuals. Sanatana Goswami was the chief minister of the king of Bengal. Rupa Goswami was the treasurer. And both of them were the advisors of the king, Hussein Shah. And they gave up that position, the kind of position that people would hanker for, and they gave up that position. Tuchchava. As if it doesn't have any meaning, any value whatsoever. and bhutva dina ganeshako karunaya, in order to benefit the fallen conditioned soul. Gopina kantha shrite. They accepted Gopin and Kantha. Kantha is a poor man's quilt. A poor man's quilt, in winter or cold, people use quilt, like thick cotton quilt. But poor people, they cannot afford to have a quilt. So what they do, they take few old dhotis and saris together and they stitch them together. It's stitched together, and that's called kantha. So they accepted Gopin and Kantha they accepted a life of acute poverty, extreme poverty. No possession, nishkinchanana, no possession whatsoever. Why did they do that? Because they got the taste of loving relationship with Krishna. Developing their love for Krishna, they're experiencing such an inconceivable joy that they have completely rejected, they are completely unconcerned about all material things, because it doesn't mean anything. A person who is in free state, free condition, will he be attracted to the affairs of the prison? Like, are we interested about what's happening? Now, the prison house may be very important for some prisoners, those who are suffering there, and especially if they are in illusion, they may think that, oh, this is a very nice place. Prison is a very nice place. But unfortunately, I'm in a third-class prison. I'm a third-class prisoner. So now let me get promoted to become second-class prisoner. As a second-class prisoner, I'll have puris instead of chapatis. One extra puri instead of a chapati, and instead of steel bed, I'll get a wooden bed. And then he becomes a second-class prisoner. Then he thinks, oh, second-class prisoner is not so good. I should become a first-class prisoner. What's the benefit of a first-class prisoner? As a first-class prisoner, I'll have a clean dhoti and kurta to wear instead of the regular prison attire. And for breakfast, I'll have toast bread with butter, and I won't have to do some service of breaking stones. There are imprisonment has rigorous imprisonment. They have to execute some service, like breaking stones and doing the garden. No, breaking stone is for third-class prisoners. Taking care of the garden is for second-class prisoners. And first-class prisoners don't have to do anything. They can do whatever they want to do. Now, to a prisoner, all these business may be very important, but to a person who is free, will he be interested in any of those things? The prisoner may think, well, look, he is wearing such a fancy kurta made of white cotton, and I am wearing striped blue and white prison dress. And the prisoner, first class prisoner, has an easy chair in his room. And he can lie down, recline on the chair, and he can read a novel. So, similarly, a devotee is not interested in the affairs of the material nature. The only interest he has in the material nature is to educate people about Krishna. A king's agent in the prison is not interested in the affairs of the prison, but he is simply interested to educate the prisoners about the position of the king and the benefit of surrendering to him. So similarly, a devotee, the only interest he has is how to educate people about Krishna and remind them about the importance and the benefit of surrendering to Krishna. That is his only interest, and for the sake of doing that, he makes all kinds of arrangements. Now the prisoners, some less informed prisoners may think, oh, he is a madman. Look what this guy is doing. He is not interested in the toast bread and marmalade. He is not interested in any of those things. All the time he is saying, you know, king is so good, king is saying this, king is doing that. And if you surrender to the king will benefit you in so many wonderful ways. Now he may think, they may think that way. That they may think that this person is crazy all the time talking about the king. After all, who is the king? I am the king. I am the king. Very soon I will become the king of the prison. I'll make arrangements. That guy who is in charge of the prison, I will start a revolution against him and drive him out, and then I will become in charge of the prison. So this is the mentality of a materialistic people. How can I become big? How can I become successful? How can I have a very wonderful situation in this material nature? How can I become famous? And how can I get all this in this world? So that is the mentality of the materialist. Whereas a devotee, he is completely unconcerned about all that. Because he knows that beyond the prison house is the free world. And in that free state, one can live so wonderfully. All one has to do to become free from the imprisonment is by surrendering to the king. And similarly, a devotee knows that the ultimate goal of life is to surrender to the King of Kings. And when we do that, then our life becomes so joyful. The king will take care of us. I don't have to build a palace myself. The king has so many palaces, and he may give me one palace to him. I don't really have to make it. The king will provide for me. He is providing me already in so many wonderful ways. The king is so kind. He is so fair. He is so generous, and he is so opulent. He has everything. So why should I make arrangements for making a palace for myself? Why should I make arrangements to make a lot of money for myself? Why should I strive so hard, struggle so hard to become famous? If I just serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then He will take care of me in the best possible way. Whatever I need, He will give me, He will provide. So this chapter, therefore, is very important to understand the difference between a materialistic person and a pure devotee of the Lord. Lord Shiva is a pure devotee of the Lord, but Daksha could not understand that. And his business is to blaspheme, insult, say bad things to him. Lord Shiva didn't do anything to him. Lord Shiva didn't want to harm him or to hurt him. But because he didn't show him respect, he was so upset. Because to him, respect is so important. And as a result of that, his youngest daughter, who must have, generally the youngest daughters are very dear to the father. And his youngest daughter left her body in front of him, but he was not at all perturbed by that. He didn't even try to prevent his daughter from committing suicide. So, Lord Shiva was so, therefore Lord Shiva was so angry. And we can see, when a Vaishnava becomes angry, then what happens? Vaishnavas are basically very, very gentle and peaceful, very tolerant and very merciful. That is one side, length of the Vaishnava, soft as a rose. But he has another side, which is hard as a thunderbolt. So now Lord Shiva is showing that hard side of the Vaishnava. The next few verses will describe that, how Lord Shiva completely lost himself. He started to laugh like a madman, hearing that, which was carried to him by Narada. And he tore a strand of his hair from his head and he threw it on the ground. And as a result of that, a demon appeared. And he asked, tell me please, what should I do? And Lord Shiva killed Daksha. And he did that. He killed Daksha. He plundered his sacrifice. All these exalted Brahmarshis, Bhrigu, Ushan, etc. They completely harassed. And they were completely beaten to pulp. And then he took Daksha, and in the sacrifice, there is a place, Jupakashta, to slaughter the animal in sacrifice. It's a device, it's a U-shaped thing with holes in it, and to hold the head of the animal steady. Like they put the head and then they pass the rod through two holes so that the head cannot move. So he put Daksha's head in there. And with the chopper, cut off Daksha. Proper punishment to an offender of a Vaishnava. But then eventually, of course, Vishnu interfered and the situation became rectified to some extent. And Daksha was given the head of a goat, a befitting head he got. He was not qualified to have a human head because his mentality was not like that of a human being who is supposed to have advanced intelligence and ability to reason properly. So he was given the head of an animal, and that also a goat. The goat is completely devoid of intelligence. Goat and ass. Ass is of course even worse. But in this case, when you got a goat's head, that was Daksha. We were so proud of his skill, but now he has a goat's head. So, in this respect, we also can consider Lord Shiva's situation. Why does Lord Shiva stay in a crematorium? Lord Shiva stays in a crematorium because in a crematorium one can constantly see the futility of materialistic way of life. We may think that the materialistic way of life is so important, so meaningful. But when we see that, when you go to a crematorium and see that the body is being cremated, bodies are being cremated, then what we get to see? This is the ultimate end. We are doing so many things for the sake of this body. All our endeavors in this material nature is for the sake of this body. But then, what is the ultimate end of this body? Burn to ashes. That's why Lord Shiva stays in a crematorium, to always remember the ultimate end of this body and ultimate purpose of all our endeavors, ultimate culmination of all our endeavors. And then Lord Shiva wears ashes in his body. He wears ashes, he smears his body with ashes. This is the way he appreciates the devotees. These ashes are the remains of the body of the Vaishnava. He doesn't smear his body with the ashes of any ordinary person. He smears his body with the ashes of the departed Vaishnavas. He wears the garland of skulls. That skulls are actually the skulls of the departed Vaishnavas. He feels intense separation from them. That these Vaishnavas were so exalted personalities. Now they have left. So let me remember them all the time, just by whatever is left of their body in the form of the skull. Lord Shiva is wearing the snakes because he is a devotee of Anantashesha and he remembers Anantashesha's form. That's why the snakes are so dear to him. Because they have the same form as the worship of the Lord. So in this way, Lord Shiva, this is why Lord Shiva behaves the way he does. But a mundane personality, a materialistic personality cannot understand these behaviors of Lord Shiva, and therefore he blasphemes Lord Shiva, like Daksha did. And what was the punishment? Because they could not think properly, the Lord thought, you are not worthy to have a human head. Because you can't think like a human being. So better you have a goat's head, because that's how your mentality works. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Lord Mahakaleshwar ki
Jai.
Devadev Mahadev
Jai.
Gaur This is another thing, that another less intelligent people make a difference between Lord Shiva and Vishnu. Even sometimes the followers of Lord Shiva develop some animosity to the followers of Lord Vishnu. But the devotees of Vishnu will never have any problem with the devotees of Lord Shiva or with Lord Shiva, because they know that Lord Shiva is the greatest of the devotees, Vaishnavas. They rather seek the blessings of Lord Shiva. Just as we pray, Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Sattvattri Namo Namaha. With Tulsi Devi we pray, please offer us Vishnu Bhakti. Similarly, Lord Shiva, to Lord Shiva also we pray, please give us devotion to Vishnu and Krishna. And what will be Lord Shiva's response to that? Yes, take all the blessings. Become a very good devotee of Krishna. Because that is the ultimate goal of life. I'm so happy that you have accepted Krishna as your Lord and Master. And you have dedicated yourself in the service of the Supreme Personality of God. Because the Vaishnava becomes extremely delighted when he sees that others are also becoming devotees of Krishna. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Does anybody have any question? Yes.
Maharaj, first of all, I would like to thank you from the depth of my heart for such a wonderful explanation, because I could relate the explanation with how the present time envious materialistic people blaspheme devotees, they speak ill about, and so much media, they get support of media and everything, and they could not understand the working of the surrendered souls to Srila Prabhupada, and they bring up bad names about them, they speak about their activities. So I could understand such wonderful points by your lecture. And my question is related to the class that you gave on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the previous day, that only by following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu we can go to Golok Vrindavan. So I have a question that there are 4 authorized paramparas, and Krishna gave the transcendental knowledge to these 4 paramparas. So is it there was a difference between that particular knowledge, because it sounds as if only from our parampara we can go to the topmost place.
Very good. Yes. Very good question. Where is the audience microphone? Who is taking care of this? Get back to this. Go there. I'm asking because there are so many devotees. Did everybody get to hear what Jan Guru said? From inside the room? You all heard? No? Okay, I'll try to repeat. First thing he said, he thanked me for the class, explaining the situation, and he also considered that nowadays also some group of people are blaspheming the devotees or unnecessarily, although the devotees have committed themselves completely in serving Srila Prabhupada's mission, but these people find faults, and internet and the media is supporting them. Because the business of the internet and media is to broadcast bad news. The newspapers don't carry good news. They always carry bad news because people don't like to hear good news. You give bad news, you give scandal, they'll immediately the rating increases. So that is the first part of the question. Then the second part was that yesterday in the class I mentioned that the only way to go to Vrindavan, enter into Vrindavan, is by following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But there are 4 sampradayas which was authorized. And so is there any difference then between these 4 sampradayas and Gauriya Vaishnava Sampradaya?
Specifically, like Krishna gave the knowledge, so like
Yeah,
was
Krishna-
there the same knowledge to all the 4 or there was difference?
Yeah, very good, very good. So the last part that Jan Prabhu added that all these 4 sampradayas, the knowledge actually comes from Krishna. So, is there any different? I mean, did Krishna give some separate knowledge to them? And it's a very nice, very intelligent question, very relevant question. Yes. The answer to that is, yes, all these 4 sampradayas are bona fide sampradayas. Brahma, Shri, Kumar, and Rudra. These 4 sampradayas. And these 4 sampradayas, by following the tenets of these 4 sampradayas, when one achieves the perfection, then he is elevated to Vaikuntha. These 4 sampradayas lead to Vaikuntha. Right? Their destination is Vaikuntha, and they achieve one of the 4 positive liberations as a result of their perfection. Like they get Sarupya, Samipya, Salokya, and Shakti. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is leading. Okay, before that, Krishna came and revealed his Braja Leela, which is otherwise not revealed. This Braja Leela of Krishna is revealed only once in a day of Brahma, only once in 1000 Chaturyugas. In the Vaivashrita Manvanta, 28th Chaturyuga, Dapur Yuga, at the end of Dapur Yuga, Krishna, the Brajendra Nandan Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, whose abode is Vrindavan, he comes and reveals his Braja Leela, which is based on Madhura Ras, conjugal law. The significance of Braja Leela is that it is predominantly based on Madhura Leela. And 2 other supporting Leelas of Madhura Leela, conjugal, is friendship and parental. Like Madhura is the topmost, and parental, one side is Shakya, one side is parental. And these 2 are supporting the conjugal. But Vaikuntha is Sangha and Dashya. Right? Krishna is God, is worshipped as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the Supreme Lord and Master. But in Vrindavan, he is not the Supreme Lord and Master. He is a coward boy. And the devotees of Krishna in Vrindavan are some are in friendship, some are in parental, and some are in conjugal. That's unusual. Friendship is among equals. But who can become equal to God? Right? Parental is between superior and inferior. Who can become superior to God? And conjugal in Parapiyaras is like a love affair between a young boy and young girl. They are having a quiet affair, right? So that nobody gets to know that, right? A conjugal relationship. Now, who can have that kind of relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Right? Like, that's how it's a parental and friendship is supported. The friends are saying, friends are making arrangements for lover and beloved to come together. And they are hiding away the affairs from the parents. If the parents get to know that they'll be in trouble. So that is how this conjugal mellow is being supported in Vrindavan or enhanced in Vrindavan. So that is unusual. The main point is, in order to develop these relationships, you see, nobody can become equal to God, right? Nobody can be superior to God. But if God becomes equal to you, then it's possible. You may not become equal to Him, but He can become equal to you, right? The pauper cannot be equal to a prince, but the prince can come down and make friends with the pauper, right? So that's what Krishna did in Vrindavan. Therefore, in Vrindavan he is not God. In Vrindavan he is Krishna. In Vrindavan he is the all-attractive personality, irrespective of his position. So now you see the difference between Vaikuntha and Vrindavan. So generally, the destination is Vaikuntha and information about Vrindavan is not available. Right? But Krishna comes in Dwapar Yuga, revealed his Vrindavan pastime, and then he considers, how will anybody ever enter into my Braja Leela? Because there are four sampradayas, everybody will follow the process of four sampradayas. And following the four sampradayas tenets, they will go to Vaikuntha. So how they will ever enter into Vrindavan? Therefore, Krishna came as a devotee. And as a devotee, he is showing his teaching. To wait, go to Vrindavan. And that is Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Right? So there is a little difference. We belong to all the four sampradayas, but again, we are not quite in line with the four sampradayas. We are very special. Gaudiya Vaishnavism because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. This has been also explained in this way to make the point clear. The consideration is that generally a devotee will serve the Lord by following the injunctions of the scriptures, which means Vaidhi Bhakti. But following Vaidhi Bhakti, when one will achieve perfection, he will go to Vaikuntha. So devotee will serve the Lord through Vaidhi Bhakti. Devotee will serve, will never deviate from that. Devotee will always serve the Lord through Vaidhi Bhakti. But he'll end up in Vrindavan. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu created a little difference. He came not as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he came as a devotee. The Lord as a devotee. So when this Lord as a devotee is served through Vaidhi Bhakti, When the devotee Lord is served with Vaidhi Bhakti, then he enters. Okay, this also has been further explained in this way. The way to enter into Vrindavan is Raganuga. There are two types of Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga. The devotee will, the way to enter into Vrindavan is Raganuga. Raganuga Bhakti means the devotees of Vrindavan are Ragatmika Bhaktas. And those who follow those Raganuga Bhaktas are known as Raganuga Bhaktas. Rag Anuga, Anugami, Anujayi. So that Anugaman is following. So when a devotee of Vrindavan is followed, that is called Raganuga. In the devotion, when devotees of Vrindavan is followed, his mood is followed, or her mood is followed, that is Raganuga. And that's what enables one to enter into Vrindavan. Like Lakshmi Devi wanted to go to Vrindavan. She told Narayan, I want to enter into your Braja Leela. Narayan said, well, then follow some gopi or Vrindavan. She said, I am Lakshmi, how can you follow me? Then Narayan said, then forget about gopi. So this is the thing. To enter into Vrindavan, we have to follow a resident of Vrindavan. That is Radha. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in the mood of Radharani. When you are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are you following? Then, see how Vaidhi Bhakti to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is automatically being transformed into Raganuga. And not Raganuga Bhakti, you are Anugami of who? The greatest devotee of Krishna. So that is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya.
Two follow-up questions.
Yeah.
Maharaj, one is so we understand that like those acharyas of our Sampradaya, Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, who came before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So is it proper to think that they received like Vaikuntha Loka and liberation or positive liberation?
Yeah, they generally are in Vaikuntha. But we find that they are also coming to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted two features of all four sampradayas in Gaudiya Vaishnava. And that's why this Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya or Mahaprabhu's life is the ultimate perfection of Vaishnava. All the four Sampradayas are actually culminating into Gaudiya Vaishnava.
Last point, Maharaj, from the explanation we understand that is it that from Vaikuntha Lok there is no way to go to Golok?
There is one way. You have to come down to the earth planet and perform Sankirtan and thus become eligible to go into Vrindavan. This point has been very nicely explained in Brihad Bhagavatam with the Vaishnava. Gop Kumar is traveling, second part, and he is way back to the spiritual side. He goes all the way to Dwarka, Vaikuntha, Ajodha. He is in Dwarka now. Gop Kumar is in Dwarka. But Narad Muni detected that although he is in Dwarka, his heart is not fully content. There is some dissatisfaction there, he detected. So he asked him, what's the matter? You are in Dwarka. You are getting so much mercy from the Lord and His fullness. And still you are not satisfied. So then Gopkumar said, you see, yeah, I know I'm so fortunate. to receive all His mercy. But you see, my heart is actually hankering for one boy who wears a peacock feather and he plays flute in the most beautiful way. And he started to describe Krishna. So then Narad Muni said, I can see that your attraction is to Krishna in Vrindavan. So go back to the earth planet. That's what he suggested. And in the forest of Vrindavan, Bhoma Vrindavan, earthly Vrindavan, you do Sankirtan. That is, call out to the Lord by His name with all the love of your heart. So Gokumar did that, came to Vrindavan, and all the time he was calling out to the Lord, Hey Govinda, Hey Govinda. And then as a result of that, one day he saw Krishna in a bush. And he immediately went to catch Krishna. He almost caught him. Yes, he caught the end of his cloth and then it slipped out of his hand. And coming so close to getting Krishna and then losing him, it was so painful for him that he became unconscious, he fainted. And his body rolled down into Jamuna. And when he came back to his senses, he found that he is moving in some vehicle with a tremendous speed. And then he arrived in Vrindavan. It was sort of afternoon. It was afternoon that he arrived in Vrindavan. And he saw that some girls were picking flowers. So he asked the girls, can you please tell me where Krishna is? Can you please tell me where is the house of Nanda Maharaj? But the girls didn't give any response. They just kept on singing about, talking about Krishna, Krishna's activity, singing his glory. And he felt, Gokumar felt, that maybe all these girls are deaf. Or they're so absorbed in Krishna that they don't have any external sense. Then he met some elderly people, but everyone seemed to be so absorbed that they couldn't respond. Then he came across an old woman. And she responded. She said that here is the house of God. And Krishna has gone to tend the cows, and soon he will come back. And so he went to there, and he saw that in the horizon, the dust started to fly. And then he heard the sound of the mooing of the cows and the laughter of the boys. And then from a distance he saw Krishna and Balaram along with all the cowherd boys and the cows. They were just coming back. So when Gokumar saw Krishna, he ran to meet him. And Krishna also ran to meet him. So both of them embraced. And Krishna started to tell my friend, for so long I have been waiting for you to come back. And now that you are back, I'm saying that Krishna fainted. And seeing this scene, that Gokumar, this boy running and embracing Krishna and then Krishna fainting, some of the residents started to think like the gopis, maybe this is a demon who came to attack Krishna. And they started to cry. So then Balaram saw, and at first he also was a little alarmed. Who is this attacking Krishna in this way? But then, when he realized, then Balaram told him to chant the name of Krishna in the ears of Krishna. So Gopakumar did that. And then Krishna came back to his senses. So this is how Gopakumar went back to his senses. So you see, he went to Vaikuntha, went all the way to Dwarka, but from there he had to come back to the earth planet.